Hey friends, it's Betsy from A Flourishing Place, and in today's video we are talking about 3 tips for pre-holiday decluttering. Well, if we haven't met before, my name is Betsy. I have a wonderful husband and 2 small kids and another one on the way. And I am recording this video the week of Thanksgiving. So we are really coming into that holiday time. And oftentimes clutter can just be a huge deal at the holidays because I think you'll agree with me that it gets very overwhelming very quickly. And there is a little bit of a controversy, I feel like, in terms of whether you do kind of a pre-holiday declutter or kind of let the holidays happen and then kind of do a post-holiday declutter, or a little bit of both. And I think any of the above can be beneficial. Doing it beforehand, doing it after, doing both. But I would say for me this year, I am definitely planning to do some pre-holiday decluttering. What usually happens is I wait to declutter until the holidays are over. But by that point, I'm kind of like a volcano overflowing. I've had enough of the clutter. I've had enough of all the stuff. I feel like there's stuff crammed in our house everywhere and it's driving me crazy.
I've had it up to here.
And so I go on a bit of a, what do they call that? Like a rage purge. It's not really a rage purge, but where you're just like going all around the house with a trash bag, like this has gotta go, this has gotta go. And I'm gonna see this year if I can avoid that, if I can do pre-holiday decluttering and avoid a little bit of that kind of after the holidays overwhelm that can happen. So this year in doing pre-holiday decluttering, I have 3 tips that I am going to follow myself and that may be helpful for you as you tackle some clutter before the holidays. So number 1, where to start? I would say hotspots. Start with your hotspots. It's so tempting when you get in a decluttering mindset to want to start in the deepest, darkest cabinet or drawer or out in your garage or something like that. And it's not that those places aren't important and critical, but oftentimes I find that the spots that collect clutter in the main kind of traffic areas of your house, if you declutter those and get those sorted out, you are going a long way towards feeling like you're making progress and feeling like the house is looking a lot more shipshape. And that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. So for me, the hutch in our dining room, that is a hot spot that can easily collect clutter. The top of my dresser, I think I've mentioned this before, but that's another spot that just collects stuff that is in progress, stuff that's not ready to be put away, stuff that I'm working on. And so spots like that, and there's a bunch more around our house too, let's be honest, where clutter collects. And so dealing with those hot spots first and decluttering those areas, and then getting to areas that are more hidden. Number 2 tip for pre-holiday decluttering is to make liberal use of wait and see bins. And I'm sure you've probably heard of these. People call them a lot of different things. A wait and see bin, quarantine bin, time will tell bin. These are really big with the Minimal Mom if you've watched any of her videos, and it is a genius idea. And that is the idea that when you're decluttering, you don't necessarily, as some stuff is easy to get rid of, you just toss it in the garbage or you take it to the donation center, not a second thought. But there's things that are really difficult in deciding, is it time to get rid of this or not? One of the reasons why time will tell bins are so helpful around the holidays is because you honestly don't know what you're going to receive during the holidays. And sometimes, like for example, you need to declutter your sock drawer or something like that. And you don't know whether or not you're going to get new socks for the holidays to replace ones you have. You don't know kind of what you're working with. Now, socks are a silly example, obviously, but something like that where you have an item and you're thinking, oh, it's possible I might receive this for a gift, or it's possible I might find a good sale during the holiday season. That's always possible. And I could pick some of these up at some point, but I don't know. And so sometimes it can be helpful to put things in a wait and see bin, because you truly don't know if that item is going to be replaced either through a gift or through a sale that you find. And so you don't necessarily want to part with something before you have something to replace it. This is so true with kids' toys. If you have little kids like I do, sometimes that whole idea of not exactly knowing the toys that they're going to be receiving, that can be really tricky because you don't want to like clear out a bunch of toys and then you kind of don't know what's coming in. And so it can be really tempting to just wait and not declutter anything until after the gifts have all come. And if you choose to do that, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to start that work ahead of time, like I am planning to do this year, where you go through things in advance and just look at things and say, okay, truly, what are they playing with right now? What have they outgrown? What's broken? You know, the usual routine. Then that can be really helpful to use a wait and see bin. You can put toys in there, toys that are still in good shape, toys that work great, toys that the kids are kind of over, they haven't played with for a while, but you're not 100% sure that you're ready to part with them. So for me, I'm definitely going to be using wait and see bins with the kids' toys because I want to be very intentional about decluttering before Christmas and before a lot of the gifts are coming in. But I also don't want to just be ruthless in decluttering before I know actually what is coming in. And so it's kind of a bit of a balancing act. But I want so much for the holidays to be a time for our kids to enjoy, and I don't want them to be overwhelmed, and I don't want them to be overstimulated. And so often when there's things coming in, it can be really hard because there's already a bunch of things in our homes, and then there's more coming in, and the kids are kind of like, and it just can be quite a bit, honestly. And so I am going to use wait and see bins for that. And then for my own things as well, just going through things and seeing what I need to get rid of. And once the dust clears, once it's the new year, you can revisit those bins and declutter things, take them to the donation center, or you can bring some things back in if you need to, and things that you still are going to make use of. The third tip I have, and this might not sound super helpful right up front, but I'm going to explain it a little bit, and that is to keep in mind why you're decluttering. And that may sound really silly, like I know why I'm decluttering. I want to get stuff out of my house. I want to be careful, at least in our home, that we are not decluttering stuff just to replace it with stuff. That idea does not appeal to me at all. The whole reason behind decluttering, yes, you are preparing for an influx of gifts and things like that. That's just kind of a part of the Christmas season. But at least for our family in decluttering, I am wanting to make space so that, like I mentioned before, number one, my kids are not feeling overstimulated. They're not feeling overwhelmed. Number two, and this is probably the biggest one, is to make space for hospitality and for connecting with people. Because the older I get, and even as I say this, I feel like, oh, this makes me sound old, but the holidays are just more about being together and getting together than it is about giving each other stuff. And gifts are great, but as you come more into those, I don't know, I hate to say middle-aged years, oh gosh, but into those years as your kids are growing, just the value of being together is so important. And so for us, I want to make sure that in decluttering, I'm not just, getting rid of stuff to make room for more stuff, but I'm getting rid of stuff so that it's easy to have people into our home. It's easy to tidy up quickly so that if a neighbor stops by or if a friend stops by or we've got family coming, it is not this huge burden of stress going, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff I have to clean up. There's so much stuff I have to deal with. And guess what? People are coming over and they're bringing more stuff with them. You know, it's that preparation for making space for family connection, for family memories, and for doing things together at the holidays. So that probably sounds really Hallmark and really cheesy, but I think you know what I mean. When I am evaluating what to keep and what to get rid of in our home, when I think about that forefront in my mind, why am I doing this? The whole reason that I'm doing this is so that we are making space to make memories. That's what I want to do, because the most valuable things to me in the years to come are going to be the times that we've had together as a family, the pictures that we've taken. And for myself, I relax and enjoy so much more, and our children are happier, they play better together when there is a more simplified environment. And so those 3 tips are what I'm going to keep top of mind as I'm doing some pre-holiday decluttering. I hope they were helpful for you. If you are interested in more videos on decluttering, I have a video right here on decluttering sentimental items. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.